card fighters and non-card fighters from around the world. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be giving you a brief overview of my Dragonic Kaiser deck profile. I'll be following this video up with a more in-depth profile discussion about this particular build. So this one's just going to be a quick run through. This is what card I play, this is how many it is, and here's what it does, basically. So, we'll jump right in and start off with the starter, which is 2 copies of Hard Rod Draco Kit. Allows you to bind your opponent's drop zone to get your Thunderstrike up, and if you need to, you can bind something on the rear guard as well. For grade 3s, the main grade 3 you want to see is Dragonic Kaiser Crimson. So he's the Revival Legion unit for Dragonic Kaiser Vermillion, and he makes Vermillion skill free, basically, which is why he's really good and why you want to see him. Now, because we are playing Premium, run 4 copies of Dragonic Kaiser Vermillion. The new one has the Excel marker, and when he attacks, you can pay his skill, which is free, and he either gets 5k crit or he attacks your opponent's front row if the conditions are met. And finally, for grade 3s, we run 2 copies of Black Arrow Dragon, because I think if you're playing this premium Narukami deck, you should try and make room for this thing. It's just too good. On to grade 2s, I played 2 copies of Chow Owl, because you don't always want to see him when you're doing the Kaiser plays, but having a restanding rear guard and Excel circle is always really nice. I play 3 copies of Recklessness Dragon. He gets an extra little bit of a power buff, and in the areas of the game where you're trying to bind stuff, he's good. And finally, for grade 2s, I run 4 copies of Thunderstorm Dragoon, because in the effort of having a Vermillion deck where the front row is gone, having a 14k pretty much at every turn is really nice. On to grade 1s, I run 4 copies of Crown Holder Dragon. He's a Vermillion support card. Basically, he powers up the column whenever your Vanguard hits something. So, yeah. And then I played 2 copies of Fatine, because I like drawing cards and, you know, it's cheap. And I run 4 copies of Dragon Dancer Anastasia, the unflip null as opposed to the Thunderstrike null. I run 3 copies of the Stride Fodder, literally just here to pay for the cost of Stride because you don't play any Vanquishers within the deck. On to triggers, I run 4 copies of Dragon Dancer Paulina. She's the Intersoul 10k drawer card. Every clan got one in last year's premium collection. And 4 front triggers, Dragon Dancer Katharina, no skill. 4 draw triggers in Old Dragon Mage, again, no skill. And then I run 4 heals, 2 Sibo for the 20k shield, and 2 Yuki for the Tara clone effect where you can counter charge or soul charge. Onto my Stride Zone, I run 4 copies of Dragonic Kaiser Warning. He's the main Stride you want to get into because of the theme of the deck, and he attacks the front row, and if he hits, he gives units on your board power, basically. So, yeah, that's why you play him. 1 copy of VMAX, because if you can set it up, you can either push for that 6 damage, which is really good, or board wipe your opponent by attacking everything at once. Next, I run 3 copies of Vanquisher V-Buster. He's, you know, critical quad drive, plus you can bind a couple units with his skill, and it's a relatively cheap skill as well, so he's there if you want it. 2 copies of Vanquisher Voltage, because powering up your front row by like 30k if you're over at Thunderstrike 10 is hilarious. 1 copy of Conquest Fulgurite, because A, he's a much better card than people give him credit for, and B, if you can get him off, he's one of the strongest cards in the Stride Zone if you can get him off. 1 copy of Close the Dragon, because this G8 is da nuts. don't need to say anymore. Like, it's the nuts. Onto the G Guardians, 1 copy of Impede Dragon, because it's kind of fun to interrupt your opponent on their turn. 2 copies of Bulwark Dragon, is the power shield, he gets 25k, and you can retire something on your opponent's turn. And then, because this isn't a purely Thunderstrike deck, 1 copy of Brahma, because it's the only G-Guard, aside from Impede, that Narukami has, that doesn't require a Thunderstrike cost. So yeah, that's the deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. If you're more curious on a bit more detailing of the skills, why I chose what stuff, how it works together, I will be linking a video in the description, which is essentially an extended deck profile on this. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Adios.